Ireland became the first country to legalize same-sex marriage by way of a popular vote. The country underscores really the huge topic for teens, for all of us, and our sexual identities. Family psychologist Dr. Wes Crenshaw, he's been here before. Thanks for coming back. Along with 2015 Shawnee Mission East graduate Julia Poe are both here. We're talking about just how our world is changing so rapidly when it comes to our sexual identity. And of course, younger people are always on the forefront of everything. And Dr. West, let's talk about that, because it seems that they're kind of leading the way for this as well.
Very much they are, even so that generations turn over in about 4 years now. I think it's easier for young people who are freshmen in high school right now to be open about sexual identity than it is even for the seniors. And so parents are really playing catch up in this, because we're at an age where we didn't grow up with this idea, and now those of us who are 35 to 60 with teenagers are really kind of behind the curve.
Okay. Let's talk to you, because you're obviously part of this younger generation. First of all, congratulations on being named the National High School Journalist of the Year.
Thank you very much.
It's a huge honor,
Thank
so
you.
Congratulations to you. Okay, now we just had a conversation during the commercial break. You do identify yourself as a bisexual.
Correct, kind of. So the way that I look at it is, I personally identify myself as pansexual, which is a really complicated type of thing, basically where you are attracted to someone personality first, and then all sexual attraction comes afterwards.
After that.
So
and
you don't
we're
really
going to talk to Dr. West a little more about what pansexual is and kind of how that fits in.
Right.
What trends are you seeing with teenagers and people your age as far as just really being open to various sexualities?
Well, I used to be part, before I graduated, of our GSA at Shawnee Mission East, and we saw...
GSA stands for?
The Gay Straight Alliance.
Okay.
And we saw so many kids coming in who were just very comfortable with not knowing what their sexuality was, who were comfortable with just kind of trying to figure that out at a younger age. I'm seeing kids who are identifying as gay or bisexual, or just being open to anything when they're in 6th grade or 7th grade, and I think it's just starting earlier, and I think people are more comfortable. But on the flip side, straight people and people who maybe that's not really a factor for them in their life are also more open to it. I've been open about my sexuality for about a year now, and I've never been bullied. I've never had a negative reaction, and so there's almost been no downside to coming out, because people don't really seem to see me that much differently.
And that's changed, I think, in the last few years. I mean, would you agree that 4 years ago things were pretty different? Had you said you were bisexual back then?
Oh, definitely. And I think that it's just every year it gets better. It's not even becoming a generational thing. It's becoming, if I had tried to come out my freshman year, it would have been much different than coming out my junior year like I did. And you know, the process is still rocky. It's still difficult trying to figure you out, but you know, that's dating in general. Just figuring yourself out in high school is difficult, and right now sexuality seems to be less of a factor in that almost.
And kids are just so much more accepting nowadays, it seems. All right, let's talk about the term pansexual, because this is something new. Explain, if you can, what it is.
In a short sentence, it is the idea that you are attracted to or give your love to a given person, and then work the sexuality around that. It's more about the personality of the individual, which is, you know, kind of a nice romantic ideal.
So if you love a woman, then you love her as a person first, and then your sexual relationship is based after that.
Exactly. And I do love a woman. I'm married to her.
Right.
But that's true for any young person now, or not so young person, is that you really look at the person and then work whatever your sexual identity is around that individual. And that's what is meant generally by pansexual. There's some more nuances to it, but that's the short version.
Mm-hmm. Do you think those relationships will, in the end, be stronger?
Well, you know, I'm interested to see that too, because the idea that you love someone primarily for who they are rather than for what gender they are is an appealing idea for someone who works a lot with dating and love and sexuality. So I must say I'm kind of interested to see if that plays out in the long run.
Okay, what's your advice for parents on keeping up? What should we say? What shouldn't we say? What should we do? What shouldn't we do? And then I want to get your take as well.
The first thing to do is to prepare yourself. One, while we certainly know that the majority of kids right now are identifying as straight, a parent shouldn't just assume that. I've learned in my practice you've got to ask or you're not going to know. So prepare yourself, think about how you would respond if your child comes out to you or starts dating a same-sex partner. And then we like to use our PLUS model, which is pause, listen, understand both your own reactions and your teenagers, and then be sex positive. Try to see sexuality as a good thing, because the more we look at sex as something perverse, the more we drive kids towards the perverse sides of sexuality.
Okay, we're almost out of time, but I just want to quickly get your take. What would be helpful? What was helpful that your parents did, or what would you have liked your parents to do?
My parents were just really open about anything that they were uncomfortable or unsure about, and because they were so open, at first it would lead to some really awkward conversations, but we had them and we moved past that, and this has been a work in progress coming out for my entire family, for my parents and for me. So they went through that with me. They didn't expect me to just do it on my own. They talked to me, they asked my permission to talk to their friends about it, and they just were very open about the fact that it's a difficult process for parents as well, but because they talked to me about it and were there every single step along the way, being like, okay, is this okay? Is this okay?
Support
Eventually,
system is key.
We've worked to a place where we are entirely comfortable with it as a family.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. And Dr. Wes, thank you as always. If you have questions about this topic or any other, Dr. Wes has offices in Lawrence as well as Prairie Village. You can find him online at dr-wes.com. Thanks.